Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Global final event. I am Lisa Vallese, and today, together with my colleague Greta, we will be guiding you through the final event. I would like to give the floor now to Ben Butters, the CEO of Eurochambers, lead partner in the pilot project Iglobal. Thank you, Ben. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lisa, and allow me also to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us. Pleasure to be here, and it's been a pleasure to be involved in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Global campaign for the last couple of years, and we're delighted to report on what we've managed to do during that period jointly with all of our colleagues and partners, and to look forward to what lies in store for this important program. And to do that over the next 30 minutes, I am delighted to be joined by two very significant players in this process and significant contributors to the program. Firstly, Andrei Novakov, who is a member of the European Parliament and one of the founders and fathers of Iglobal in many respects. And I'm sure Andrei will elaborate on that in a few moments. And also Maiva Ruta, who is the Deputy Director General of DG GROW, the Directorate General of the European Commission, which is in charge of Iglobal. So thank you both, Maiva and Andrei, for joining me for this opening session. The idea of it is to really summarize what's happened so far, to think about what milestones have been achieved, and very briefly to give you a couple of figures based on the surveys that we've conducted and the feedback we've received from the participants. I'm happy to say that the general reaction is extremely positive to the program. We've managed to achieve 62 exchanges so far, and a further 31 are currently under preparation. We've had a lot of interest, well over 800 of the NEs who selected the target countries as primary or secondary country for their exchange, and the number of host entrepreneurs who registered to the program is now over 100 as well. So that's really encouraging data. And the feedback from those who've been involved is also very positive, as I mentioned. So 9 out of 10 of the host entrepreneurs who participated in the program told us that the relationship with the new entrepreneur has been a success. Nearly half of the host entrepreneurs feel that it has had a significant impact on the development of their business, which is really a vital factor for us, that it has an added benefit, a long-term benefit for the participating entrepreneurs. And nearly 90% of the new entrepreneurs who've taken part have said that the exchange has really significantly contributed to the development of their business. So that's also very positive as well. And almost all of the new entrepreneurs who participated, 94%, said that the program has been a success from their point of view. So again, that's really encouraging feedback. The purpose of the program is basically a geographical extension of the iClassic, the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, which has been now running for well over 10 years. And we extended it to the US, not all of the US, the New York State and Pennsylvania, as well as Israel and Singapore. And the objective is, as you know, a mobility scheme for young, innovative entrepreneurs. And the idea is that they should have spent 1 to 3 months in the targeted host country. Of course, because of COVID, that hasn't been possible for a lot of the new entrepreneurs. So there's the travel aspect has been significantly curtailed in the last 12 months, and a lot of these exchanges have taken place remotely. But nonetheless, as you can tell from the figures I mentioned, that the experience has still been very positive for both the new and the host entrepreneurs, despite those significant restrictions. So that's a little bit of an intro into what's been achieved so far. And I believe that's really a good basis to move the program forward, but we'll come on to that perhaps in a little while. But now, if I may, I will hand over the floor to Andrei Novakov, who is a member of European Parliament from Bulgaria, and as I mentioned before, has been really an active campaigner to start this program, and it's a delight to have you with us today to join us on this occasion. Andre, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ben. It's a pleasure for me joining you here from Bulgaria, and I hope that you're sometimes safe in those turbulent times. And I, listening to you and listening the story of that, I would say baby, because it's something that I started in the very beginning of my first term. I'm proud of what we achieve as a team, and I'm using the chance now to say thank you, Giacomo, Caterina, and Victoria, for everything that you did to make it possible to have such a program working. And I remember how it started 2016 with just an idea on my desk, and then start working with the Commission and the Parliament to back up the budget. And actually, it works at the end. And Kalin is, head of my office, is here with me, working on that idea for last almost 6 years, 5-6 years, and we've met from a distance on an event. The first approved and financed participant of our program from Estonia, and he was so sincere, so frank, saying that the program changed his views, his perspective to his professional life. And I thought to myself, that's the reason to work actually, and to put so much efforts. At the beginning, we gave a name on that program. We baptized the program as Aleko, and it comes after one of the Bulgarian writers who traveled the world, who first went to Chicago and wrote a book about it, which inspired me. Once I start thinking about Erasmus for entrepreneurs, I thought to myself that unfortunately one of the biggest opportunities that a young entrepreneur could have is actually beyond the borders of the union. So what we can do is actually take the best experience, the best practices from the United States, from Singapore, Israel, and then implement them here in the union. And I'm proud that more than 60 participants actually did it. And I'm sure that in a matter of years, probably not all of them, but some of them will make us proud of building a successful and huge company that will bring European Union to the leading position of certain sphere. So it doesn't matter if he or she is going to send to launch a satellite in the space, which will give an advantage to the union, or will develop a new smartphone app, or build a new smartphone. I don't know what it will be, but it will be something significant. So it's good that we managed to have Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs 2.0 with a new additional budget, with new member states. Unfortunately, Corona crisis actually grounded in the significant part of the program, but I'm sure that soon will be over, and that team here that we gathered around this idea will make it fly again. And there is a good reason that every ticket which is bought by Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Global, it's a two-way ticket, which means that we not just finance excursions and pleasure trips to someone, we actually invest in the future, that is going to, to give us an advantage very soon, I believe. I can see that huge part of those participants deserve such a chance, and I rely on each and every one of you that this program will be continued as it deserves, because it's something that very soon, I would say, will help at least that the union could could be compared with the states and countries like Singapore when it comes to the opportunities in the business. And again, thank you very much for all of those who contribute to the development of Aleco, as I said. And I'm sure that one day it's something that we are going to share with our grandchildren, saying that we have that much contribution to this program, which now it's available almost around the world in every member, in every country around the world, which helps new entrepreneurs who are going to change our life in the recent future. Thank you very much for this chance, for this opportunity to participate.
Thank you very much, Andrei Novakov, for joining us and for your support for the program. And I think that really underlines that entrepreneurship is not just the exclusive right of businessmen and women. It's also something that we see and we need in policy making as well, because without that entrepreneurial spirit, we wouldn't have launched Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs all those years ago, and we wouldn't have elaborated on it to come up with Iglobal more recently. And our next speaker, Maiva Ruta, was indeed involved in the finding of this program back in a previous role within the European Commission, when she was instrumental in the Small Business Act, of course, which was one of the founding pillars of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. So it's great to see you today, Maiva, and to hear your views on specifically on Iglobal, what we've achieved so far and what lies ahead from your point of view. Maiva, the floor is yours.
Thank you a lot, Ben. This is really today a great moment for me to comment and help launch this new episode or maybe even a new era in the life of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. As you said, I recall the times when we were preparing the very first Small Business Act for Europe, and we are talking about more than 10 years back. And then this idea came to a small group of my collaborators and myself. We were thinking what could really be there which would help young entrepreneurs beyond their drive and beyond their personal commitment. What could really help them make the important first steps in seeing how to really establish a business, and in seeing also how to get your products to markets. And that's where this Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs was born. And for me, I joined the Commission in 2005 as the director responsible for small businesses and entrepreneurship. I must say this Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs from the very early days has been really one of these programs I'm very proud of that we have created for Europe, and I think it shows after all these years that it really delivers and helps to fulfill what we were originally hoping for. I would also like to underline that this program has enjoyed the strong support from the European Parliament from the early days. And I would very much like to thank Mr. Novakov for his strong support and this really leading role he's taking now, taking this program to a completely new level of development and helping it become not only one of the top European projects, but really to even expand globally. So this is really much appreciated. What we were hoping when we set up the very first pilot, in fact, so not a full program, but the first pilot for the Young Entrepreneurs Erasmus program, we were hoping that it will be helping young entrepreneurs to have a bit of a kind of a test whether their idea can really mature. And we were also hoping that it's not going to be only for the young entrepreneurs, but it's also going to be for the host, for the receiving end, something that can be invigorating and something that can bring new experience and kind of a inspiration for both sides. And what we just heard from Ben about the recent feedback from the participants, I think this really shows that both the participants, the young entrepreneurs, and the hosts, they both benefit from it. So I would like to maybe underline some of the points that I believe makes it such a great program. For young entrepreneurs, this is one of the very few really practical, on-the-job know-how type of opportunity. So it is not something that you would learn from a textbook. Establishing a business is very much about really learning and knowing how to do things. So the opportunity to go and stay with a business person, businesswoman, businessman somewhere else who already has this experience is certainly something that can encourage a young person or a young entrepreneur to go for it. Or maybe they learn that whatever idea they had is not worthwhile implementing, and they take another one. So it's a good way of really seeing whether it would work or not. I do believe that through this program, we have really helped European entrepreneurial spirit to be manifested. And we have helped startups to be established. We have helped SMEs to think international and allowed them to really go for it. What we see as benefit of this program is that it really is helping the single market to become more functional. The many young entrepreneurs who have used this Erasmus program have used it also to not only learn about establishing a business, they have also used it for establishing their first contacts for marketing or for selling their products. And similarly, the hosts, they can benefit from a window or opportunity in another country where the entrepreneur, the young entrepreneur comes from. So I think it really is important that this is a kind of a win-win program. And we, from the very early days, try to create it in a flexible way. It's not a very rigid frame that you have to always stay just 3 months. It's more flexible, and people can see how to also use it maybe besides of their family life, or maybe they have a full-time job and they want to take just a couple of months off to see how the entrepreneurial idea they have, how this could apply or maybe not fly. So it's a very good opportunity to test the ideas and to get experience. And of course, the numbers really say it all. More than 40 European countries already participate in the I program. And we see that it has helped to match more than 20,000 aspiring young entrepreneurs and about 10,000 or so cross-border exchanges. So certainly this is one of the programs that helps build our single market. And the other point I want to underline is really the quality of this program. And again, Ben already mentioned that a very large share, really a lion's share of the participants see it as a program that has clearly added value for them. It has helped them to create a business, find a supplier, create a joint venture, and it really has been something that is not only, as Mr. Novakov also said, it's not only for travel or seeing another part of the world. It's really towards the entrepreneurial end of things. So I'm very glad now that with the help of the European Parliament, we have now this opportunity to go global. And indeed, the European Parliament's continued support has been really fantastic for this. We have Israel, Singapore, and 2 states from the US. We are in the final days of this project. We will soon hear also from the participants how it's going. I believe that their testimonies and those of the people who have helped organize it all will tell us a lot. What can we get from it? But I do believe that it will again show the opportunities in the frame of how to establish a company, how to go to foreign markets. It will show how one can network and create contacts both for supply as well as for the sales of these new companies. So for us, it's a great program. I'm very satisfied to see that Iglobal continues. We will build bridges between entrepreneurs for another 3 years. And as of 14th of March, we will launch Iglobal preparatory action. So this is something that would be the big day of the next round of Iglobal. And there will be 3 additional destinations: Canada, South Korea, and Taiwan. So besides what we have tested, 3 additional destinations: Canada, South Korea, and Taiwan. And we see that these countries are very important commercial partners for Europe. And therefore, I believe that our entrepreneurs will find these to be very fruitful ecosystems to tap into. So there will be further places to go to and to get really the best out of it. So I would also like to thank some of my own colleagues who have been working hard on it. I have, first of all, here Giacomo Martino, who is the head of unit implementing the program in DG Grow, and of course a team that has been around Giacomo. Really a big thank you for the work done. And then, of course, a big thank you again to European Parliament, the many implementing organizations, chambers of commerce, and various other organizations who are helping us to receive and to send the young entrepreneurs. In the EU delegations, we also really owe you a big thank you. Our partners overseas, you have made this project a success, and with your help, we'll take it now further to the next level. So many thanks, and I wish the program and the new wave of participants really great success with it. Thanks again, and bonne chance.
Thank you very much, Maiva, for those positive words and for the great news about the next stage of the program, the 3 years to come, the new destinations, Canada, South Korea, Taiwan. This is all fantastic news to see Iglobal gaining further traction, widening its horizons, and building on what we've achieved over the last couple of years. That's really good news. We have a few more minutes. If any participants have any questions for Maiva, or possibly still Andre as well, we would be happy to take them in the chat. I'm just going to check with my colleagues if we've received any questions so far. If not, we can take 1 or 2 still before we have to conclude this opening session. We're getting a lot of hellos, but I'm not seeing any questions. Lisa or Greta, do you know if we've had any questions?
Not for the moment. So it seems that the Q&A section is still empty, apart from Gabriel that is saying hello to everyone. So yes, we invite you to use the Q&A section if you would like to pose some question to the panelists or interact in the chat, and I will look through the entire duration of the event.
Okay, I'm just picking up 1 or 2 questions now. We have one from Veronica who says that the database of mentors, there are also other states available, California, for example. Is it possible to go there? That may be a question for a colleague to answer. Well, we're kind of between phases at the moment. So is there anybody there who can answer that specific question from Veronica?
Hello, Ben. Maybe I could. Here is Caterina from the European Commission. I'm the project manager of the program.
Please go ahead, Caterina.
When we were selecting the intermediate organization to deal with the project, our main concern that we have the final destination can take care of the entrepreneur who comes to the country and deals, help them if they have any. So as far as the countries, that's clear what was offered. We thought US is a big country. We cannot say you have a country, so they had to specify state. In the current round, New York and Pennsylvania was covered. But I can already now disclose that in the next round, which will start on the 14th of March, California will be included as well.
Thank you for that update. That's very positive. And there you have a very clear answer to your question, Veronica. Not just yet, but wait a few weeks, and that should be something that you can be helped with in the basis of in the context of this program. Then we have another question linked to that about on what basis the new destinations have been decided. Well, Maiva already mentioned that they're all destinations with which Europe has a strong commercial relationship, and that where there is a lot of potential. I suppose that was one of the main criterion used, but I don't know whether Maiva or Giacomo, you would like to add anything further about the selection of the new destinations?
Well, indeed, maybe from my side, I say a couple of things, and if there are further selection points, my colleagues from Giacomo's unit, Caterina, you can also join. I mean, what we have been thinking from the establishment of the program is that we would like to open places, we'd like to open destinations where we could learn something. So certainly within Europe, there are opportunities where young entrepreneurs can learn from each other, where maybe in one or another country a certain strength is there, and the entrepreneurs in this market do something particularly well, or there is a strong cluster. But similarly, the destinations now chosen, they have we believe opportunities which would be essential, and where we could learn further lessons and bring that back. And of course, at the other end of things, if things work out, we hope that there will be also some even trade relations, if you wish, if things really work out. But I would then give over to Giacomo, who is the responsible head of unit in our service.
Yes, thank you. Very briefly, just to adapt, because Maiva has illustrated probably the key element, and there is this component of trade, the trade relations. Let's not forget that there is a whole new generation of trade agreements that the European Union is progressively putting in place with a number of countries, which have a particular attention to SMEs. And therefore, these agreements will allow also in their legal structure to do a bit more, and then to have more attention to SMEs than in the past. And clearly, one objective, obviously, of the trade agreement is to enhance overall trade opportunities. So this is why we have carefully identified potential new countries, and I suppose this will be a criterion that will be also followed in future on partners with whom the European Union has a solid trade agreement in place. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Giacomo. The questions are flowing now. A lot of them are quite technical about visas and COVID restrictions, and when the new countries will be, when that will actually kick off. So perhaps they can be better addressed in the later panels of the event, because I know that both Maiva and Andrea are on a very tight schedule. So I think we will, unless there are any closing remarks from either Maiva or Andre, I think we will draw this session to a close. But Andre, would you like to say anything before you leave? Perhaps he has already left. He told me that it's the middle of an election campaign in Bulgaria that he's involved in, so he was on a very tight schedule. But Maiva, would you like to say one more line before we conclude this session?
Well, I would just say that I hope that the support from the Parliament continues, so that we could again expand it and have even more benefits from the program. And I also hope that then your teams, your chambers, and many of the intermediate organizations which help us to place the young entrepreneurs and to find them, that you will not tire, but you will actually keep on doing it. And then for the many young entrepreneurs, just go for it. It's just a great opportunity. So I hope that this program will remain one of the top quality and very much appreciated program in Europe.
Excellent. Thank you, Maiva. Yeah, well, Chambers of Commerce are really strongly invested in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, and will continue to be so in many different ways. So we'll be very happy to continue to contribute to the evolution of the program across the world, let's hope, as we expand gradually. So thank you, Maiva, for joining us. Thank you, Andrei Novakov, for joining us as well. And on that note, I will hand over to Lisa to move us on to the next stage of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ben, and thank you to all the speakers that joined during this first part of the event. Well, I would like now to, first of all, remind everyone that the event of today, if you have tuned in a little bit later, it is being recorded, so you will be able to access it afterwards. And I also take this occasion to make sure that I thank all the partners of the consortium that made this project possible in this pilot phase. The project was only possible thanks to the help of the consortium members of the Iglobal project, Union Camere Veneto, the Belgian Italian Chamber of Commerce, and EOC International that are joining us today. Thanks to the efforts of these incredible organizations, today we can count on the success stories of many entrepreneurs, and some of them are joining us today. And we will hear from them and from their story, and many others are attending this event and will be able to share their experience further on and hopefully have managed to really benefit from this program and have a real impact in their business. So I would like to introduce to you our first entrepreneur who took part in the program that will share his experience today. He's a host entrepreneur. His name is Alejandro Juarez Crawford. Alejandro is based in the United States, and he leads Rebel Base, which is a company that helps students, employees, and citizens to build solutions of their own. And Mr. Crawford led Rebel Base as it built and successfully commercialized its library of educational modules, cloud-based interactive tools, and state-of-the-art methodology. Before founding Rebel Base, Alejandro led the boutique consultancy Acceleration Group, and thanks to all of these efforts in the sector of entrepreneurship and supporting entrepreneurship, he serves as a professor of entrepreneurship at the Bard MBA in sustainability. That's where in 2021 and 2020, his research expanded into university systems from Bangladesh to Kyrgyzstan. And he is part of the Bard Innovation, Global Innovation Project that is supported by the Open Society University Network. He writes and speaks widely on expanding access to innovation, and today he's joining us from New York, where I know that it was quite of a challenge connecting today. So thank you, Alejandro, for joining us, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Lisa, and really just want to appreciate the passion and determination that the introductory speakers have articulated to open up avenues for entrepreneurs. The first principle for us, and it's my distinct pleasure to be here today with new entrepreneur, Alex Frias Clave, who himself has become a host entrepreneur since. But I want to start by emphasizing, Lisa, that I'm not really broadcasting from the bridge of the Starship Enterprise, but I might as well be, because we, as many of you may know, we lost the power grid in the Hudson Valley this morning in New York. So I had to go up in outer space to reach you all. And I think that's really consistent, in all seriousness, with the goals of this program. We often talk about the concept of a tesseract. Does everyone here know what a tesseract is? A tesseract in science fiction, whether it's the children's book A Wrinkle in Time or a movie with Matthew McConaughey, is something that allows you to collapse space and time. And in the Matthew McConaughey movie, he's able to travel to see his daughter in a black hole. Now, tesseracts are not possible in the real world, or they're a theoretical phenomenon. But we here have access to the virtual equivalent of a tesseract. And what I mean is this: up until the present age, all of us, if we wanted to be an entrepreneur, we were reliant on the resources immediately around us. Now let's stop for a second, because what is an entrepreneur? Well, Inc. magazine's #1 voted definition of entrepreneurship comes from Howard Stevenson at Harvard. And Howard Stevenson said that entrepreneurship is the pursuit of opportunities using resources beyond your control, resources outside your control. Now let's all pause for a moment and think about that. Normally, when we're pursuing an opportunity, we figure out what resources we have at our disposal, at hand. Maybe it's a budget, maybe it's talent, maybe it is a colleague on the next street over, or the next bench over in the classic engineers formulation from Hewlett-Packard. Now, the difference for entrepreneurs is that we create opportunity using resources that are beyond us. And so let me open with two ideas. The first is that this program, Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, is not just cutting edge in all the ways that we're going to talk about today, but we're also looking not just at today, but at a future where all over the world, a young person who sees a better way of doing things, who looks around her and sees systems that are obsolete or broken, sees incumbent firms still doing things in a way that doesn't meet our need, that young entrepreneur today can take advantage of the tesseract that you are building and draw the resources to her to launch a live experiment and create the alternative. Now, we know in entrepreneurship, we say in Silicon Valley, fail fast and fail often. We know that it's important to have more opportunities to launch those experiments because many of them will fail. And this brings me to the second point. So the first point I just want to be very clear on is this idea that we can connect to each other internationally. But the second is that my excitement in answering the first question that you have today has to do with the fact, the reasons that I got into this program. And those have to do with meeting Alex Frias at a conference I was keynoting on Kayseri. And I'll just leave that as a teaser because I think you only want to do introductions now. So when we pick up from there, remind me to tell you more. Lisa, thank you.
Absolutely, and we can't wait to hear that story from you. Thank you, Alejandro. And that's how I would like to introduce Alex, who had an exchange with Alejandro back a couple of months back. And Alex is a Barcelona-based entrepreneur. He holds a dual degree in business management and innovation management and a postgraduate degree in social economy. Over the last 4 years, Alex has lived in Turkey and the US, where he works on several projects in entrepreneurship and innovation sector, and he is a regular collaborator at the Techno Campus University in Barcelona. That's where he is the president of the association Youth BCN, based in Barcelona. And after his exchange with Alejandro, his entrepreneurial path took a turn and he became the head of business development of Rebel Base. And I am looking forward to his contribution when a little bit later we will discuss how their exchange and the exchange of Alex impacted their own business. But in the meantime, welcome, Alex, and good afternoon.
Well, hello, thank you for inviting me. First of all, to the event of today, and also for all the people that is here in the call for making possible that great opportunity that, as I will comment after, is a totally life changer. And that's all. Thank you. Thank
you, Alex. And well, on the other hand, I would like to introduce Tatyam Suen. So good evening, Tatyam. I know that you're joining us quite late today. Tatyam is a Singapore-based entrepreneur. He started his early career as an auditor and business advisory consultant, but in 2015, he started dreaming to share the true joy of travel that comes with authentic experiences. And that's when he decided to leave his job and start his own travel company. And in 2017, he established Monster Day Tours. Monster Day Tours has grown to become the largest walking and private tour operator in Singapore in just 3 years, and has provided tour services for thousands of independent travelers and multinational corporations. And going together with the motto of Tatyam, open your mind and try new things, during the COVID-19, the company innovated and developed live live virtual tours. These live virtual tours helped people continue exploring the world from the comfort of their home. And he has been featured in many numerous media outlets and articles regarding tourism and hospitality in Singapore. And Tatyam has already hosted 3 entrepreneurs in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Global project, and one of them is Armin, that I will introduce in a little while. But in the meantime, I would like to welcome Tatyam and thank you for joining us.
Hi, Lisa, and everyone else. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah, it's a privilege to looks like the only Asians to be here right now, to be doing this pretty late at night. Yeah, but it's a really good time to be joining all of you, and really happy to just share my experience over here as a host entrepreneur in Singapore, and obviously together with my experience with Armin. We were just like really still chatting really happily over WhatsApp right now. And really getting a lot of all this like discussion going, and then hopefully we get a lot more from this panel. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you for joining us and welcome. And yeah, finally, I would like to introduce Armin. Armin Greber is a German entrepreneur. He is based in Munich, and after working for some years in the airline industry, Armin started his entrepreneurial journey. And first of all, he started working on the startup Event Match at the end of 2017. But during his exchange in Singapore, Armin understood together with Tatyam the needs of international customers and business partners. And that's how during the summer of 2018-19, he decided to pivot from Event Match to a new project. And that's how Foodies was born in early 2020. Foodies is an app that allows booking for group or events in restaurants in order to enable to socialize while dining out. And Armin has developed this project, and even if during COVID-19, the development of this project was for sure hindered, and the first rollout was quite difficult, the customer demand for dining and socializing was actually overwhelming after the first lockdown in Germany in June 2020. And so thank you so much, Armin, and we're looking forward to sharing with you some discussion today. Welcome.
Yeah, Lisa, thanks a lot for the introduction. And yeah, thanks also for the nice words and the welcome. Yeah, I'm looking also forward to the panel and also to see TY happily on the screen.
Thank you, Armin. And in the meantime, I would also like to thank all the attendees and the other participants that have joined the program in the past and that are listening to this event, and they're tuning in from very different parts of Europe and the world. And thank you so much for taking part in this event today. So yeah, taking a couple of steps back and going back to the conversation that we were having before together with Alejandro. How did you learn about the program, and how did you end up meeting Alex? Tell us a bit more about that.
Thanks for asking, Lisa. So I didn't mean to be the stereotypical New Yorker at the beginning of this. And when we were just supposed to introduce ourselves, I offered lots of concepts. So I'm going to give you the short answer, but there's a story behind it. And if you'd like, I can expand on that. So I was in a city called Kayseri in Turkey, and I was the keynote speaker at an event put on by Erasmus Plus, actually. And one of the activities during that event was an instant make a business interactive group activity. And I ended up in that group activity with a gentleman that you see on your screen, Alex Frias. And we came up with a business during that activity that I think was a little too brilliant for its time. And if you ask me, I can tell you more about what it was. But we got so much out of the creative process together during that activity that we kept in touch. And I actually learned about Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs from Alex. We've since been a host to, I can't remember, almost a half dozen new entrepreneurs, but it was Alex actually who introduced me to EYE. And I'll stop here, but as I learned about the program through our engagement, I was really blown away by the possibilities that it unlocked.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alejandro. And thank you, Alex, also for sharing your story. And I wanted to ask Alex a little bit more about the process of getting into the program as a new entrepreneur. Why did you decide to apply, and how was that process for you?
Alex, this is like a Lady Gaga song. There are too many Alejandros here. So I think this one's for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will explain that and also put some extra information about what Alejandro said. So I knew about the program because of the Chambers of Commerce of Terrassa. They told me the possibility of participating in this global edition. When I decided to participate, it was just in the beginning of the pilot, so there was not a lot of host entrepreneurs in the program. So this matched with the part Alejandro said. When I went back from that Congress, a couple of months after that Kayseri event that we met, I just remember the possibility of why not maybe do this opportunity with the host entrepreneur, because for me, he was what it is, that host entrepreneur, someone from that I can learn a lot of things. And then I decided to tell him, like, look, why you don't apply to be host entrepreneur of the program? Then maybe I can go there and we can do and I will be able to contribute to the company, to the idea that you told me a couple of months ago. And that was what I did. I saw the potential of this experience and the impact that can have living and working in New York City. And yeah, it was super great opportunity for me.
Thank you, Alex. That's really interesting. And I wanted to turn to our participant from Singapore, Tatyam. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us today. And I wanted to ask you, what was your experience in Iglobal, and specifically, how did you find your new entrepreneur? How did you come in contact with the program, and how did the whole matching experience that brought you to have an exchange with Armin worked?
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, it was really interesting when I first heard of the program. I think similar to Alessandro, I actually got it from my first new entrepreneur. She was from Greece, and she was actually running a travel startup. Yeah, and she was really interested in the whole culture and heritage of what Singapore really is. Yeah, so that was how I heard of the program. Amin himself is actually my second new entrepreneur who came about a year later. And for him, it was a little bit different because he was really running EventNet himself. And he wanted to get in touch with me really about, TY, I understand that you run startup tours over here in Singapore. So obviously, when we talk about US, Singapore, and Israel, we know that they are kind of the regional hubs for startup, as well as a thriving ecosystem that's going on. And what happened to us was Monster Day Tour is one of those, is the only company that was running startup tours to foreigners, as well as many other entrepreneurs there. Yeah, so when Amin came to me, it was more like, hey, this guy is doing an event app, which I was particularly interested in as well. Yeah, so I thought, let's get him over here to Singapore, let him experience what Singapore and Singaporeans are, and I could then maybe pick his brains a bit, on how foreign travelers think, because essentially I run a travel, like I'm a tour operator myself, and we are pretty much already connected with people from all around the world. And there's such a big tour scene over in Europe as well as the States. And I thought, hey, if we could bring really some awesome ideas from all around the world and bring it to this part of, to bring it to Singapore, this part of Asia, I thought I could do a lot with that. Yeah, so it was really with the mentality of really, like I wouldn't even call myself, like I was the one also learning during the whole experience myself. Yeah, to me, it was more of like a cultural exchange, overseas exchange, that I really get to think in the having a bit more ideas of what other entrepreneurs are thinking of, and then really putting what they have, their feedbacks and their opinions into my tours and improving it to the next stage. Yeah.
And what about your expectations before the exchange? What did you expect such an experience to be, and how did it match up with your experience?
Oh, initially, like Amin was my second one, so obviously I was benchmarking my expectation with the first one, and he didn't do too well. Just kidding. Yeah. So he was great, right? Like, I mean, like my first one was a female entrepreneur, so I got that side of her that was a lot more meticulous, a lot more detail, and because she was doing travel, there was a lot of common topics that we could talk about. Yeah, Amin was definitely different. So I was like thinking this person has a little bit of marketing background. He has a bit of tech background. He's also younger, like much younger than my first entrepreneur. So I was expecting a lot of innovative ideas to come from him. Yeah, and he really did that. Like the first thing that he came to Singapore was trying to connect me with various connections. But at the same time, he was demanding a lot of other connections from me as well. So we went on like a connection kind of exchange first, right? And thereafter, so I told him, hey, bro, come and join all my tours, right? Come and have an experience of what it is. So I guess what we did was, this was the really fun part for all my new entrepreneurs, because they really get to enjoy Singapore very much like how I enjoy them. So the expectation, I would definitely say, I mean, definitely fulfill what I thought he will bring me. Of course, back then I was also on quite a busy schedule. There were times that definitely there could have been a lot more things that we could work together on. Yeah, but because of time factors, scheduling factors, sometimes he's left to his own device to just explore. But I think he pretty much enjoyed that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much. And I wanted to ask something to Armin too. Well, we talked about it a little bit in your introduction about your story with Event Match, and how then you decided to actually launch yourself in a new project, and how Foodies was born. So I wanted to ask you actually how the exchange impacted your entrepreneurial path, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about how your projects are going now, and what you're developing.
Yeah, so the exchange, like first of all, of course, it broadened my horizon, because like at the beginning, like my idea was really that a socializing app is made for people who mostly come from abroad. So because local people usually already have their circles, so the idea was more or less to bring people together who are like new in town, either from other cities or even better from other countries. So I think that's why the exchange helped me really a lot, also to see all kind of nationalities, and also to work in a new environment, and to see like what is possible to establish in another country, and also to benefit from the experience from TY, see what he already developed, and if there's any synergies, what we can both benefit from, where we can maybe even start something together and see like what comes out of it. So that was pretty much what happened during the exchange, and I think it definitely helped me a lot to learn and to further develop. So in the introduction you already mentioned so the further development of the app, which is named Foodies, we started in the early 2020. So unfortunately, like 1 month later, we had a pandemic going on. That didn't really bring a lot of benefit for socializing and dining app, as restaurants were closed for like around 2.5 months in Germany. However, as you already also said, after lockdown, there was like a big demand of people who want to go out, want to meet people again, because they were all stuck at home for a long time. And it was really, of course, a boring time for everyone. So everybody was happy in the summer to go out again, to have fun and to eat in the places. Actually the push after this was pretty high. Again, in November, we have the second lockdown. So since then, it's again like basically on a pause. Of course, we're further developing the application, see what we can improve, work on the feedback we got so far. And just looking forward to restaurants opening up again. From my personal development, what happened since then? So mostly because of the reason of the pandemic, I had to see, okay, is the startup really like, will I follow it like full time? And in the end, I figured out, okay, I will probably, it works out better for me if I do it as a side project. And that's why since last summer, I'm working at TripAdvisor, which is like also a nice synergy effect from all the learnings I had before. And I could definitely bring in a lot there, but I'm still running the startup at the same time, and looking forward to when the pandemic is over and we can start the app also again.
Thank you, Armin. That was really interesting. I wanted to ask something now to our two host entrepreneurs that are joining on the panel today. So both of you have actually hosted quite a good number of new entrepreneurs. Not only Alex and Armin that are joining us today, but as Tatiana was mentioning before, also other entrepreneurs. And I wanted to ask you, well, first of all, how did you make the decision of hosting more than one entrepreneur, keep on participating in the program, and how is this experience for you? What do you feel is also the added benefit of these different business cooperation? And yeah, how would you recommend the program to others?
Yeah, so for myself, I mean, we consistently get application almost on a bi-monthly basis from basically new entrepreneurs from all around the European Union. And what I usually basically do is definitely go through the, what their purpose, their objective is, what they are looking for. For myself, I need to find myself being a good match for what they are actually intending to do if they do come into Singapore. And this thought has always been there. So obviously, I've also rejected a few applications because I do not find them really suitable. Yeah, there's obviously also like a couple of quick video interview process. We did calls with the potential new entrepreneurs before they come on, and this process has always allowed me to really better understand the positions that they are in and what they are trying to achieve when we do come together in the host country itself. Yeah. And sorry, Lisa, what was your second part of your question?
Well, I think that in all of this, you kind of like answered it yourself. I was asking if you would recommend the program and what would you sell it with based on your experience?
Yeah, I highly recommend this program. If not, there's no other reason why I keep going back to it. And I definitely took time off looking at this. Basically, I'm a people person, right? So I really love to meet people, just getting their ideas, their thoughts, collaborating with one another. I think there's really a high quality of people that comes through the I program. Yeah, people who are really thinking outside of the box, being creative, and being really, they comes with a huge entrepreneurial spirit, which is what I really enjoy the most. Yeah, I think the challenge and the obstacles that, like I say, I have is I might not have really the right resource, or I might not be a right fit for the what that potential applicant can be. But otherwise, this has been an amazing program. I know COVID has somehow affected the running of the program, but I myself personally, we are holding on to a few applications, and we really hope that once travel able to resume, a lot of this process can come back and we get to really meet new entrepreneurs.
Thank you. And what about you, Alejandro? You have already hosted 4 entrepreneurs and completed exchanges with them. And I know that you're building even more now and waiting for them to be able to travel to the US and have an exchange with you. How was that experience for you?
Lisa, let me first note that we also, like Tatiana Swain, receive many more applicants than we can work with. And so when we're selecting, we're really looking for someone who doesn't want, look, EYE, it's not an internship. It's not just shadowing someone. It's not tourism, that's for sure. We're looking for folks who want to co-create solutions with us. And so there is a sense in which we're all always new entrepreneurs if we're doing our work well. Meaning, no matter how many businesses I've started, no matter how many people that I have taught and coached as they started their businesses, no matter how many ventures are launched and social enterprises on the Rebel-based platform itself, we continue to be looking for that next harder problem to solve. That's what entrepreneurship is to us. And so when we elect to work with a new entrepreneur, it's because that entrepreneur is trying to solve a problem that is tightly linked to the ones that we're trying to solve. We don't look at the new entrepreneur as just someone who's going to watch and learn. Forget that. We look at the new entrepreneur as someone, of course, who will benefit from the most experienced members of our team. But, and in fact, I should note in saying that Alex and I work all the time now with an entrepreneur who was my own mentor when I was a student, who has now joined our team. So let me zero in on just 3 sort of bullets, and I can pick up on any of these, Lisa, if you'd like. The first is that in selecting the relationships, I'd strongly advise everyone on this call, don't just look for a host company that seems interesting. Look for problems you want to solve together. Look for unsolved problems that you can bring something special to. And then secondly, I'd emphasize what we jokingly call the Ocean's 11 principle, which is that we're always looking to create a team of misfits, a team of people who have diverse disciplinary, cultural, and other experiences and ways of using their brains, because it's only that way that we truly create something new. So the second idea is look for a sense that you're going to be bringing something that the host entrepreneur doesn't have in your skills, your cultural background, and the way you use your brain. And then the last point, Lisa, that I would just mention in answering this question about how we choose is really important and interesting, which is that if it's 4 that we've worked with, we've ended up doing digital collaborations in one way or another after the internship with all 4. And in fact, 2 of those have become active members of our international team after the EYE experience. And actually, Alex has led the development of a whole new front, as it were, for our software platform, now working with investor groups and chambers of commerce, some of whom are represented on this call, a major new European project, and universities in various parts of Spain and Europe. And so those are the things that I would emphasize, is that continued collaboration. This isn't just go spend 6 months, learn a thing or 2 about how this is done in New York. No, we're always learning how it can be done next, the problems we want to solve, the diverse abilities we build, and the collaborations that can proceed forth from these exchanges.
Thank you, Alejandro. I think that indeed, as you said, Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs Global really represents a chance to tackle new challenges and really find what you're missing in your business today and learn from someone else while really teaching them something new. So,
and Lisa, if I could add one more note, it's that the biggest problems that confront, I'm going to be very serious for a moment, that confront us all globally are problems we have not solved. We have less than a decade to make a total transition to sustainability. We need to make artificial intelligence happen in ways that promote democracy rather than erode it. We are not going to be shipping things around the world. Our cities aren't going to come back to the traditional office experiences. Our universities aren't going to go back to the way they're being. So we have to solve so many problems around us that, frankly, only entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs can solve, and that require the kind of international collaboration and meeting of minds that this program promotes. So there's an imperative that we do this kind of work because the problems around us need us to solve them.
Yeah, it's very true. And so we have only a couple of minutes left on this panel, and so I wanted to ask to Alex, Armin, and Tatyam if there's anything else that you wanted to share with the participants and wanted to talk about before we move on to our next panel, where we will be discussing the future of the program, and we'll also pick up maybe a few questions that we have received so far in the Q&A so that we can give you a little bit of technical feedback.
So if I can add something, and after I will be more than glad to answer some questions of the people that may be thinking if they should participate or not in this program. I just want to say again that it was an incredible opportunity. So I always say to the people that is in my community, or when I split a little bit the program for other people to join, for me was kind of master of life or MBA of life. It gives me the opportunity to go to their place, to be with really experienced entrepreneurs like Alejandro and the other members of the team. And look, right now I am one of the members of the company. I am one of the directors of the company, and yeah, it changed my life. I was not there when I started the program, let's say. So it's really, really, really powerful. And also something else to add is that after I finished my experience as a new entrepreneur, a couple of months after that, look how I saw the potential that here in Barcelona, where I am established, we are also host entrepreneurs. So actually right now in front of me, I have a new entrepreneur from Serbia that is going to be here till June. And we are going to be continuing also hosting people to continue that amazing program.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Okay,
Yeah.
so if Tatyam, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I just wanted to concur with what Alessandro have shared earlier on regarding like really looking at the problems you have and then trying to solve it together when you can learn from one another. That is definitely a great point, because I think what we did with a lot of the entrepreneurs when we came together is really looking at the various problems and challenges. We discussed really everything, even from operations to to finance, to even human resource, and how the way that we tackle and deal with things. I think there's really a lot of useful insights exchanged during the whole entire program. And it's always really good if you were to embark on the program to really think it through, what you are really trying to go for, what you are really aiming at, and then having really that kind of pre-preparations before you actually embark onto the program, and not really looking at it as just like a tourism project, like what Alessandro have said. Yeah, so definitely that's something that I think all of us here are trying to achieve, and a message to take home.
Thank you, Tatyam. Thank you so much.
You,
okay,
Lisa.
so I think that unless Armin wanted to add something, we can.
Yeah, there's not so much from my side to add. I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to join this program, and I'm also very grateful that I had the chance to meet TY. And I'm very happy that especially his company could solve the problem with COVID quite well, and offering now online tours. Everybody sign up for his tours, don't forget. And
Thanks,
I
Armin.
can only recommend the whole program to everybody in the future when it's hopefully possible to travel. It's really an enrichment. Thanks a lot.
Definitely. Thank you, Armin. And talking about joining the program, I will just pick up a couple of questions that have been asked before we move on to the next panel. So specifically in terms of taking part into the program, if you are a new entrepreneur, so if you have just started your business, or you're writing your business plan for something that you would like to start up yourself, and you had the chance in the past to already take part in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program, remember that this program is a pilot project in this specific phase will keep on going, but comes from the tradition of the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs that was already implemented in Europe and in the COSME countries. So if you are an entrepreneur that has taken part in the program in the past and is looking at this project and would like to have an exchange of this type, there are a few rules to take into consideration. So if you would like to apply today and you have never taken part in the exchange, you can choose to either have an exchange in one of the destinations within Europe and the COSME countries, or take part in an exchange in one of the global destinations. On the other hand, if you have taken part in the project before Iglobal was launched and put in place, you still have a chance to register for the program and apply for an exchange within Iglobal. But if you have already taken part in an exchange in the last 2 to 3 years, when global was already a possibility, you will not be able to have a second exchange in one of the global destinations. I hope that answers the question that was raised from the audience. And then I have a question also from one of our participants that has started the process of applying for the program back in 2019, and she's currently waiting to go on an exchange, and she's worrying if all the paperwork and the process that she went through to apply for the program will have to be restarted in the new phase. I think this links us quite well to the next session and the next panel. So in particular for this type of cases, where if you are at the moment an accepted entrepreneur in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, and you would like to take part in the project in the upcoming months, you will not need to apply again. You will not need to present your application another time. What you have presented so far will be still valid in the online platform that we've been using, and hopefully you will be able to have a successful exchange in the future. And then I know that there are also a couple of questions in the Q&A section that one was wanted to be answered by our colleague Caterina, if I am correct. So maybe we will go back to that one later on during the next session. But for the time being, I would like to now give the floor to Caterina Nislova. She is a project officer in DG Grow. She is one of the people that made this program possible, also on the side of DG Grow. And I would like to give the floor to her to lead a panel on the future of the program. Caterina, the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay,
yes,
great.
We can hear you well.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much to our alumni. Proud of you. Thank you very much to our guest speakers in the first session for supporting us and being really support and helping us to launch the project and run the project. I want to apologize straight. I seem to have some issues with internet, so I hope it will work for this panel. If not, Lisa, I'll ask you to take over, please. This panel should be about the future of the program. The future is bright, that I can already declare. We have been able, thanks to the success of the panel project, receive extra finances to continue with this program for 3 more years. And if I can ask you for the next slide, I'll mention only briefly how the program will run, what we can expect. And then in the second part of this panel, we will have our future IOs, representatives, which will introduce their consortia, they will introduce their project, they will let us know what are their ideas, how to implement the project in next 3 years. So just to sum up, this is again a one-way entrepreneurial exchange program whereby the entrepreneurs, EU citizens, new entrepreneurs can go outside of Europe for an exchange from 1 to 3 months. We are, in contrary to what is available now, we are offering 3 more destinations. So we will be active in 6 destinations, including Canada, Israel, Singapore, South Korea, Taiwan, and US. And the program in the next 3 years will be implemented by 8 intermediary organizations. In some cases, the intermediary organization will be active in more than 1 destinations, but basically we will have 1 intermediate organization covering Canada, State Ontario and Quebec, 1 covering British Columbia, 1 intermediate organization active in Israel, 3 intermediate organizations altogether in the US, 1 in California, 2 in New York. We will have 3 organizations covering Singapore, 1 South Korea, and 1 Taiwan. As far as the financial contribution from European resources, from the EU resources to the new entrepreneurs traveling on exchange, we will again keep the 2 parts. One is flat rate for travel, and here you can see that it's 800 for USA, Singapore, and all other countries. Sorry, it's not clearly mentioned here, except of Israel. For travels to Israel, it's 600 euros. As far as monthly allowance to help the entrepreneurs to cover the extra costs and of stay and in the new destination, here you have the amounts. Here I would like to mention that obviously what we are offering to the new entrepreneurs will not cover the cost completely. So the new entrepreneurs, as is in the normal program, will have to be ready to co-finance their stay and find other resources to finance their stay. Okay, with that, I think I have answered some of the specific questions. We can probably move to the second part where we will hear from the representative of the 3 new consortia that will be implemented in the program from the 14th of March. About their activity plan, about what is their idea behind how they want to implement the program, which destinations they covered, who are their partners. Lisa, can we go back to the slide before? The first one, which will let us know all details about what their plans are, is Consortium Global I, whereby this is consortium of 2 partners. It's one partner, Unternehmertum from Germany, and partner from Poland. Now I will probably broke my thumb. Fundacja Uniwersytetu im Adama Mickiewicza w Poznaniu, so Polish institution. Just to give you a brief overview, Unternehmertum is a leading center for innovation and business creation in Europe. Together with startups and established companies, Unternehmertum drives tech venture forward from the first idea to market leadership. And as far as the Polish organization, they are basically first technology part that was established in Poland in 1995. Their mission is, of course, to stimulate collaboration between science and industry, to activate regional development via innovation, technology transfer, and international cooperation. This consortium is today represented by Caterina Nislova, who has been a project leader for international cooperation and Unternehmertum. She is currently also part of the team that is implementing Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program at Unternehmertum, and she will be the leader for the consortium implementing the Iglobal. Caterina, can I please ask you to take the floor and tell us what your project will be about, how it will work?
Thank you very much. Thanks also for introducing us and breaking your tongue on our names. I usually go with the short versions. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm happy to introduce our project and consortium to you. My name is Caterina Nislova, and I've been coordinating the AI project as lead partner for the last 3 years. And I'm very happy to represent the whole team now and give some insights on their behalf. So as Caterina said, the project consortium consists of us, Unternehmertum, the Center for Innovation and Business Creation at the Technical University of Munich in Germany. And we will be acting as the project coordinator, and we will be responsible for the recruitment of host entrepreneurs in the regions. And then there's our Polish colleagues, the Poznan Science and Technology Park, which is a multidisciplinary incubation center for technologies, and they've got expertise in establishing and developing enterprises. And our colleagues and partners will be in charge of matchmaking and participant management. Both of us have been part of the AI program for several years now, I think almost since the beginning. And in a way, we've sort of like grown with it in experience, in matching entrepreneurs, but also in building networks and connections. And we want to draw on this experience and also on these networks to really raise awareness for global markets. And that way, at the same time, we want to meet the expressed needs of the European entrepreneurs for internationalization into global markets. We'd like to extend the AI activities to 4 different global destinations, Canada, namely Ontario and Quebec. We want to extend to Israel, Singapore, and the US with the states of California and New York. So what are these 4 destinations like? Why do we think they can be inspiring for growth and innovation? Why do we want to be active there? So Canada for us is known for governmental support, high investments, and top universities. And it's one of the fastest growing startup scenes in the world, which is why we think it's an attractive destination within Iglobal. Israel, on the other hand, is a place with high quality of life and a great infrastructure for innovation. So new entrepreneurs can learn from entrepreneurs who had to think global from the very beginning when we consider how small the internal market in Israel is. So the big picture, thinking big, going global. That's our aim for Israel. Singapore, I mean, we've heard a lot from TY and Armin already. It's one of the best places in the world to do business. They've got access to investors from all over the world, and we feel it can be a great stepping stone into Asia for our new entrepreneurs. Also, Iglobal, an exchange to the US, we believe offers a unique opportunity to new entrepreneurs who are ready to scale. There's quite a few US venture capitals that are eager to invest in earlier stage EU teams, but usually they're not actively scouting in Europe. So our aim is to really bring well-performing new entrepreneurs to the market that might have their first customer already on hand, and then that can be a huge chance to support the growth of EU businesses. How do you want to go about all this? What's our approach? So as I said, we will be using our existing business network, and we're going to work with very strong local contacts and supporters that we've had over the past years and that we're in touch with, and already on our list. Partners that we will be counting on is the German Chamber of Industry and Commerce in Israel and in Canada. And we will be working together with a German Accelerator, which is an acceleration program for startups when scaling globally. And they've got offices in San Francisco, New York, and Singapore. We're open for further partners, supporters, so feel free to reach out to us if you've got the feeling, yes, this is connections, these are countries, destinations that I'm active in, and I want to be a part of it and play a vital role. We're always happy to see how we can interact and get this program off the ground with you together. In total, we'd like to enroll at least 250 host entrepreneurs in these targeted regions. We want to match these with the most suitable accepted NEs, and hopefully this will then lead to a minimum of 125 successful exchanges. We'll see. What do we mean by a successful exchange? A successful match, in our understanding, is based on an international host entrepreneur on the one side, who's the founder of a startup, scale-up, or SME, and has a proven track record in sort of mentoring and also building scalable businesses. And then on the other side, there's the new entrepreneur, hopefully already with a scalable business to really make the most out of the program, or in the seed or startup phase, and finding the right match, the proper match between partners will then be essential to really have a great access onto the non-EU markets. We as a consortium, we will be providing on-the-job training to the new entrepreneurs because we believe that in participating in Iglobal, it can help new entrepreneurs to further develop their business ideas through peer-to-peer learning. I mean, we heard earlier on, it's not just shadowing, but peer-to-peer learning is a big part of it. And it's an opportunity to test their business model in global markets, to discover how to enter these markets, and potentially then facilitate international collaboration. We really want to draw the new entrepreneurs' attention to the benefits of going global by getting hands-on experience and know-how about market opportunities, but also barriers. And as I said, we will be targeting Canada, Israel, Singapore, and the US. And this will be done, the experience, hopefully through developing, testing, and piloting new business concepts for then have another path to follow and more opportunities once completed with the Iglobal exchange. We're excited to get this project started and off the ground. And yeah, hopefully this will be achieved with your support in one way or the other. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Caterina, for this comprehensive introduction. We are looking forward for our cooperation, and good luck to reach all the numbers and to host entrepreneurs and to matching new entrepreneurs and host entrepreneurs as such. Thanks a lot. With this, let's move to the next consortium, which is represented by 3 intermediate organizations, one based in Belgium, another one in Portugal, the last one in Italy. We have EBN, which is a network of around 140 quality certified business and innovation centers, another 40 organizations that support the development and growth of innovative entrepreneurs, startup, and SMEs. Portuguese SPI group that has a wide international coverage and more than 10 years of experience in the field of business development and support to clusters and their SMEs in internationalization strategies. And the last one, but not least one, is Promos Italia, which is the Italian agency for internationalization of Chamber of Commerce. Promos has a large experience in managing international projects. The project consortium Iglobal will be introduced by Laura Lecci, who is the CEO of EBN. Laura, the floor is yours.
This is Livia from EBN. I will represent our organization. Laura, apologies for not being able to join for other commitment, but okay, I'm happy to be here representing EBN and the whole consortium. And as you were saying, Caterina, well, this is not a one-man show, but we will work together. SPI, which is a Portuguese consultancy organization, and Promos, which is the Italian agency for internationalizations, who count on the support of chambers of commerce, both at national and international level. With regard to the Iglobal project, we will hopefully successfully implement. We will target 3 of the countries mentioned before, which are Taiwan, South Korea, and Singapore. We will target to reach at least 100 entrepreneurs, host entrepreneurs. Thanks, Greta. You can go ahead with the presentation. Next slide. Next slide again. Okay, these are the partners we were together with Caterina mentioning. SPI is from Portugal, and we will count on their expertise in Asian region. I can hear my echo. And also we will count on the fact that SPI is an operating partner of the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, and this will enable us to reach several entrepreneurs in Europe. On the other hand, Promos Italia has a long-lasting experience in supporting SMEs in internationalizing, and they are active members of the Enterprise Europe network that will ensure us to reach business support organization in the 3 target countries I already mentioned. Next slide, please, Greta. Okay, these are the objectives of Iglobal we already mentioned in the previous presentation. What our consortium will do is to select, at least as I was saying, 100 young entrepreneurs from European countries who will take benefit from on-the-jobs training and mentorings in the target countries. And what we are planning also to do is to facilitate the sharing of experiences between these entrepreneurs by focusing in particular on the challenges and obstacles they will meet to help them to identify solutions and to take inspiration also from the host organizations that they will visit. In addition to this, we will also facilitate the enhancement of building collaborations among the young entrepreneurs and the host entrepreneurs, because we think that this will enrich both sides. Next slide, please. Well, our consortium does not have previous experiences in Iglobal, but we will for sure capitalize on our networks. And as is reported in this slide, we already managed to approach several business support organizations in the 3 target countries, and we received letter of supports from enterprises, organizations, and institutions based in Taiwan, Singapore, sorry, and South Korea. I'd like also to add that EBN can count on 2 active members in Taiwan who already expressed their interest in participating and somehow supporting us in engaging local actors. And SPI has a branch office in China with strong relations in the whole Asian region. We also have Promos, which is active in organizing business fora and events in the framework of EU-Asian framework, and EBN sorry, EBN has a wide network which can count, as Caterina was saying, on 165 members, but also on the fact that we reach around 25,000 companies in Europe and on a global scale, which will be for sure involved in this initiative. Just to close, I would like to thank you for the attention, and also to invite you to explore synergies with other projects, because we think that this will for sure enrich the Iglobal initiative and ensure its success.
Thank you very much for the introduction of this consortium and the partners. The same here. We are looking forward to work with you. Very interesting destinations, new destinations for us in Asia. So we are really very much looking forward how this all will work, and we believe strongly that this must be a success. So thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
We do let's present the Third Consortium, which is created by 3 partners. All the partners are our intermediate organization in the normal, ordinary Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, so they know the program upside down. So the first one and the leads, ITCAM, the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany. They count over 400 member companies. Their main and functions that they provide is consultancy to SMEs in business development and internationalization, creation of network and cooperation with enterprises and universities. The second member of this consortium is Union Camere del Veneto Eurosportello. This is a very known organization for us because they have also been in the previous Iglobal. So not only that they are in the normal I program since its beginning, so more than 10 years, but they are also they have been also implementing Iglobal already 3 years ago. The last member of the consortium is Chamber of Commerce Belgium, here Belgium, from private Belgian association, part of Italian Chamber of Commerce abroad. They are dedicated to promote trade exchanges between Belgium and Italy, and they have and has founded the European desk, which has been operating successfully for 10 years now. And also the Belgian-Italian Chamber of Commerce from Brussels has been implementing the Iglobal in the previous phase, so they also have a lot of experience with its implementation. This consortium and the project will be introduced by the Secretary General and CEO of the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany, Elio Maria Narducci. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. I will share my presentation now. Please let me know if you can see it.
We can see it well.
Very good. So we can start. So first of all,
yes,
thanks a lot for the invitation. Perfect. Thanks a lot for the invitation and the opportunity to talk. I am representing the consortium, but I will first introduce you to the ITCAM, what we do, and what we do as partners for European projects. We will talk about the durations and milestones of the Iglobal. I will give an overview of the consortium, the strength of this consortium as it was already described, and the goals that we set for the program. So the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany is quite old, certainly older than myself. We were established in 1911, and as all of the chambers of the Italian Chambers of Commerce abroad, we were born thanks to the willingness of the first entrepreneurs who were trying to enter the German market. We are a bilateral associations of companies, Italian and German, that work in both countries. And we do have 3 offices in Frankfurt, that is our main office, then Leipzig and Berlin. And we also have a desk in Vienna and several representative offices all over Italy. We are part of the chain of chambers of commerce abroad. We count 78 Italian Chamber of Commerce abroad, and we are ambassadors of the Made in Italy. Our association is composed of 400 members, but we work with a big network of professionals and organizations. So what have we done as partners for the EU project? So our experience with European project and Erasmus Plus Mobility dates back to 2014. And over the last years, we have been managing and coordinating a number of European projects in the programs such as Erasmus Plus, COSME, and Interreg. As let's say an experienced partner in Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur, we are part of the program in the third cycle, and this since 2014. We implemented successfully 80 relations between host and new entrepreneurs, and we reached 75% of our established goals, despite the situation with the pandemics. This has totaled to 33 relationships in the current cycle of the program. So then we go more in details with the I2 Global. And here you can see that the duration of the project cycle will be 36 months. And we will start by the 14th of March of 2021. And we will have our kickoff meeting on the 23rd of March. Here we put some of the milestones of the project. So there will be 105 exchanges between European new entrepreneurs and experienced entrepreneurs that will be in the USA, in Singapore, and in Canada. The ratio of applied to accepted entrepreneurs is 80%. We will work on a booklet with the final achievements and the impact of the Iglobal project. We will also work on 4 consortium reports to the European Commission. We will do a very strong online promotion on social media network, Google Ads, newsletter, and website. And we will host up to 20 promotional events. And here, as you can see, there is the overview of the consortium. This is a consortium of chambers of commerce, as it was said before. Most of them are Italian chambers of commerce abroad, and then there is Union Camere del Veneto that is in Italy. So the leading organization is us, so the Italian Chamber of Commerce for Germany. And the direct partners of the consortium will be the Belgian-Italian Chamber of Commerce in Brussels and the Union Camere del Veneto, or Eurosportello, that is in Venice. Each of us will work also with local partners overseas. So there will be the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, then the Italian Chamber of Commerce in Canada West, so that is in Vancouver, and the Italian Chamber of Commerce, the Italy America Chamber of Commerce in New York. And as you can see from the chart here, we have also divided the number of exchanges to each chamber. So there would be 40 or 25 exchanges for each chamber. So the strength of the consortium. So the 2 partners, Union Camere del Veneto and the Italian-Belgian Chamber of Commerce, have been part of the Iglobal pilot project covering New York and Singapore, and they were successful in accomplishing their objectives. The synergy that was put on assures and guarantees continuity between the pilot project and the current project cycle, as well as we expect strong performance. So the point here is that we do have as consortium some good lessons learned, and also we gather best practices from the pilot project that will have a strong impact on the implementation of the second cycle. And then we gather some expertise and knowledge of the 2 partners, and this will serve as a driving force to reach the deliverables. And then we do have the capability of the creation of ambitious but at the same time achievable objectives. So these are our goals. We would like to enhance market access and identification of potential partners for new European business in the USA, Singapore, and Canada. We would like to foster the exchange of European new entrepreneurs and in the 3 countries beyond Europe. Thus, we would like to help them to find more potential partners and market access options. Provide on-the-job training for new entrepreneurs with established host entrepreneurs in small and medium-sized enterprises. Another goal is to facilitate a successful startup, scale-up, and development of new business ideas. And finally, encourage the development of strong, sustainable, and well-connected European startups and small medium enterprises, which can continue to be the main driver of economic growth and job creation in Europe. So this ends my presentation. Here you find all of our contacts, so don't hesitate to contact us, and we are always open for new consortium and new projects.
Thank you very much for this full introduction, your project and your consortia partners. Indeed, the names of the new intermediate organization that will be implementing Iglobal will appear soon on the dedicated Iglobal web page. So your details will be shared with interested host entrepreneurs. With this, I think we can close this panel, and I would like to hand over to Lisa, and I think we have the time now to answer any remaining questions that people may have posted in the chat.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you to all the new intermediate organizations that will be involved in the new project. We really look forward to working with you too. So me and Greta will start taking a couple of questions so that we can make sure that as much as possible is answered. So we see that there are some questions that were already asked in the Q&A. We tried to provide as much as possible feedback on those also by writing, but we can pick up a couple more now. So I would, so what was already clarified before for what concerns the participation to Iglobal, I see that there are still some questions in the Q&A about it. New entrepreneurs that have participated in the Erasmus Young Entrepreneurs Program before Iglobal was launched and announced in 2018 can still register to take part in the program and have an exchange in one of the new destinations. If, on the other hand, your new entrepreneurs, if you're an intermediate organization and your new entrepreneurs have taken part in an exchange after 2018, they only have one chance to take part in Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs, whether in a global destination or in a destination in one of the COSME countries. For all of those entrepreneurs that have built relationships with global destinations up until now, the matches will not be cancelled once this pilot phase is started, but will be transferred to the new consortia that will be taking over this project. So you shouldn't worry about that, and those relationships will be carried on and hopefully become successful matches as soon as possible. Then I have a question here from Belen on information and travel costs for the new destinations. I'm assuming that, Belen, here you mean travel contributions for the new destinations. If you could let us know maybe in the group chat if that's what you mean. And I think that this was presented briefly already by Caterina in her presentation, but I think that maybe we can pick up the question again.
Yes, so for that, 800 euros for all destinations except of Israel. For Israel, the contribution, the flat rate contribution to travel cost is 600 euros.
Great, thank you so much. So indeed, yeah, the question that was asked by Monica has been answered. And well, if we maybe, Greta, if we could show on screen the slide with all these details so that our participants can also see it on screen, that would be great. There you go. So you have the slide on screen if you would like to have a look at that in the meantime. And then I see here we still have some questions that came through the chat. So I'll try to look at them up to see if there's anything else that wasn't covered so far.
No, I'm reading the chat and everything should be covered. There's just one open question in the Q&A session, but maybe we can give the floor to the next panel and then we will leave it for the last minutes of the...
Yes, perfect.
The floor to you, Lisa.
Thank you. So just give me a second. I am having some issues with my...
Well, so maybe
if you could just step in for me, but unfortunately I'm having some issues with my computer. I apologize.
Yeah, so, well, thank you so much for the consortia who already described the future of the program. I will give the floor to Giacomo Martinot to close this session, and thanks to Caterina for your contribution as well. Giacomo, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Greta, and thank you very much. Some quite quick, final remarks from my side. And let me say that it's a double pleasure for me to be able to intervene. One is for a general reason and the other a bit more personal. The general reason is that, in fact, yes, we are having a final event for the Erasmus Global, but somewhat in a seamless way, it is also the beginning of a new program, which becomes what we call a preparatory action for the next year. So that's really, good and positive that the action can continue and be even enhanced and improved. I would like really, what to say about what has been said before. I think, first of all, I really have to thank the speakers, starting with the members of the European Parliament, Mr. Novakov, but he has been also supported by other MEPs, by my Deputy Director General, Maive Rute, and to thank Ben Butters, and of course all of those who have been intervening. In particular, maybe let me say that I've been following with interest the very, I would say, not only positive, but also smart and interesting remarks and comments from those who have basically animated the pilot, Alejandro, Tatiam, and the others. And when I listen to you, I really have my heart, being full of positive emotions, because it means that the program, despite, I would say, his small nature, his small budget, has achieved the objective. And of course, I mean, it is incredible that despite the current circumstances, we have been able, after all, to have this program running. We will start the preparatory action with still these challenging circumstances, but I'm also glad to note that so many efforts have been done, and I have to thank one more, the support office, but also the intermediary organization, the consortia, to adapting to the best possible extent, to adapt the program to these challenging circumstances. So this is real something that is very promising for the continuation of the program. Now, if you allow me a more personal remark, because this is linked on one hand to changes that we are having very soon in the organization of the European Commission, the Directorate General for internal market, industry, entrepreneurship, and SMEs, which is the one responsible, among many other actions, for the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur and for the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur Global. We will have organizational changes as from the 16th of March. I'm changing responsibility. So unfortunately, I must say, I will not be following anymore the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur in all his components. You know, Maive Ruth at the beginning has explained very well why this program is so amazing and has such a positive follow-up. Well, this is a pity for me, but the good news for all of you is that the team and the people you have been knowing, starting from Caterina and the other components of this small team in the Directorate General GROW, is continuing. And therefore your points of references and those who have experience of the program remain. So, you know, this is, I think, reassuring for you in this changing context. In fact, the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur program will be followed by a service within DG GROW by a unit who is responsible and will be responsible for a number of other network initiatives and business network initiatives, but also for industrial forum. And therefore, I expect that this, under this new and updated context, the unit will be headed by Mrs. Ulla Engelmann, who I think has been able to connect with us, but otherwise has assured me that she will follow the recording of our session today. I think that under this new configuration, even further synergies between the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur program and other initiatives for the support of SMEs and startups can be created. So I think all in all, a positive development also from an organizational point of view. So just to conclude, I mean, the program is continuing. So the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur Global Preparatory Action is enhancing the positive elements that have been built. So I can only be positive and really wish all of you who are now active actors in this future preparatory action all the best. I'm sure that we will have a very successful you know, implementation and conclusion also of the preparatory action. And who knows, maybe this can trigger, I'm saying that for our interlocutors who are in third countries, let's hope that this will trigger interest also at political level. And what is now a one-way program of EU new entrepreneurs in third countries can also become a two-way program, also an offer for new entrepreneurs in those countries to come to Europe. We are ready to welcome them. And this needs only, of course, political commitment and political engagement by third countries. In our political relations, we are working on that from the EU side, and I hope this could be also a positive development, maybe not in the immediate future, but in the medium to long term. So thank you very much once again, and I'm looking forward to the future successes of the program. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Giacomo Martino, and I apologize for the little technical issue that I had before. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your contribution. And I would like to take a moment to also extend my thank you to all the participants today, all the speakers, everyone that made this event possible, together with those new intermediate organizations that will take the lead in the upcoming project. We're looking forward to work with all of you. And before we stop, I see that we have still a couple of questions left. We have a few minutes, so I would take those up so that we make sure that we have feedback for all of you. So starting off with the, we have an anonymous question regarding UK participants. So entrepreneurs that are resident in the United Kingdom will not be able to take part in the new section of the Iglobal program. And I would ask here maybe our colleague Caterina to join in on that and confirm, as the program has been, at least for its starting point, limited to the European Union resident entrepreneur.
No.
Yes, please go ahead.
I can confirm that the residents of UK are also eligible still to Iglobal preparatory action. So this is the good news. Yes, they are eligible.
Very good. So you can of course rely on that, in that case, on those intermediate organizations that are based in the UK that will be able to take care of your application if you have a new entrepreneur coming in, and they will be able to travel to the new destinations. Then I still see one question from Elisa in the Q&A, and I'll just go and double check in the chat if there's anything else, but I don't think that's the case. So Elisa is asking us how has the whole COVID situation affected the program, and how easy or difficult it is for new entrepreneurs at the moment to travel to the US. So what we have experienced so far with our partners in the United States is that traveling to the US at the moment is quite difficult. We have exchanges that are waiting to start and to travel as soon as possible. But what we can already tell you, and what we have been doing at the level of this consortium, but for sure the new partners will do in the upcoming future, is start building that connection and that relationship with your potential host entrepreneurs in the new countries. And then once your travel arrangements will be possible, you will be ready to go. And this is also the approach that we've been following so far. So that's what we would suggest.
If I may still, Lisa, add, of course, there is still the option to start the exchange as remote. So if the entrepreneurs are eager to start now, they can start remotely for some time, with hope to transfer this remote exchange into physical one. This way, actually, the entrepreneurs can collaborate together for 6 months. They will get paid only for 3 months when the new entrepreneur is really with the host entrepreneur at the spot. But the 3 extra months of working on distance can be also a way how to start this exchange.
Thank you. Thank you. And for the last questions on where we can find the contact details of all Iglobal consortia, well, if you are an intermediate organization active in the program, you will be able to contact them via the online platform, the IT tool, which is a platform where all relationships are built in the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program. Otherwise, if you are a stakeholder that is not part of the intermediate organizations, I think that maybe we could share together, of course, with the consent of those organizations that joined us today, their contact details in a follow-up email to all participants.
And as of 14th of March, so the official start of the preparatory action, those contact details will be available on the webpage of the program, i-global.eu.
Okay, I think that's
it from my side.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that we have answered all questions that were raised so far. So, well, thank you so much to everyone who joined today. We are in perfect timing. It was great to hear from all of you and to share the experiences of our entrepreneurs in this program. It was a pleasure for us as the consortium to join the program so far. And I would leave the floor to my colleague Greta for a last remark before we close the meeting. And thank you everyone.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for the entire session, and to all of you for participating and attending. Here you have the contact details of Iglobal, so the Twitter page, the Facebook page, and the web page. You will receive a follow-up email, and you will receive also an evaluation form soon to ask for your feedback and the future of the program. Thank you so much, and have a lovely evening.